Hello and welcome to Gym World Worldwide. I am your host, John Franklin, here with Mateo Lopez and Mark Fisher. And boys, do we have stuff to talk about this week.
Oh.
There is a new influencer gym that is going super viral on TikTok. And
How viral?
We're talking, 50 million views over the last few weeks. Viral. And that's just on TikTok. So we got Instagram as well. So I am very excited to show this to you guys. Here we go.
Welcome to part 2 of the greatest gym in the fucking nation. This ain't Planet Fitness, baby. This is the lifter's paradise. We have 36 squat racks. We have 50 Ohio deadlift bars and power bars. We have bumper plates, cast iron plates. We have something for everyone. Let me show you our leg section. We have 2 bilateral leg press, bilateral hip press, 2 of them, 3 vertical leg press, 3 linear leg press, 2 regular head press, 3 super V squats, 2 hack squats, 2 linear hack squats, 2 pendulum squats. You already know that chest day is the best day. That's why we have 20 Olympic benches. You're never gonna have to wait again. And we have over 50,000 pounds in stainless steel dumbbells. They go from 5 pounds all the way up to these big boys, 200 pounds. Don't even think about touching this shit unless you can re-rack it. That's it, guys. Like and share for part 3.
Didn't appreciate taking shots at our unofficial sponsor, Planet Fitness, there in the intro. But hey, I get it. The best way to earn clout is to pick a fight. So I totally understand the strategy there.
What do you make of this, Mark?
This is the type of gym that I feel like is a little bit outside my actual bailiwick. It's hard for me to speak to this kind of gym and this scale of gym, which I admit is a hole I plan to fill soon, actually, because here in Newburgh, New York, we actually have one of the most successful Gold's Gym owners in the entire nation, who also, we share some mutual friends. So let me qualify this by saying I'm a little on tenuous ground as I'm not an expert on this, but listen, I don't know, 50 million views on TikTok, that's very interesting, number one. I think we have seen on the show consistently that gyms that really nail it with the influencer can actually translate into dollars. And understand this, I would contrast this with things that are also cool, but don't actually tend to lead to money. So for instance, it's well known in the world of performance training gyms, it's cool if you train athletes, but it doesn't usually make you money, right? Or even a place like Mark Fisher Fitness, which has been one of Men's Health's top 20 gyms in America. And we've been all the big fitness magazines. We've been in all the New York newspapers. And it's cool, but it doesn't actually translate to money. I am very interested by this phenomenon because particularly with the influencers, at least from what we've seen from Christian Guzman and some of the other gyms running this play, it looks like it might actually work. But I'm curious to hear from the two of you if you have any insight or any thoughts on what a P&L for this kind of gym is going to look like, because we're dealing with massive CapEx outside the gate. So I'm curious what this needs to look like from a membership model perspective. But admittedly, with 50 million TikTok followers, a lot of different ways one can make money with an audience that size.
That's not followers. I think that's my general back of the envelope estimate of view count.
Views, okay. So you're a liar.
Now, no, I said views. You're just a bad listener.
That's fair.
Touche. And if you're listening to this instead of watching it, so he just showed like a massive 70,000 square foot gym with a football field down the middle of it and a bunch of top of the line equipment. It looks like he got a lot of inspiration from Drake's house. So he does another video where he breaks down some of the accoutrements that make the gym special. Let's take a look.
Here's what it costs to build the flyest gym in the world. The front desk doubles as a piece of art. It's carved out of a single piece of quartz, and it cost me $60,000. And this badass marble wall was $20 a foot for material and labor, 4,000 square feet, $80,000. And this beautiful hand-cut custom walkway, inspired by Drake's $100 million mansion, was $100 grand. This badass football field behind me, custom turf, was $65,000. You want to know more about what it costs to build the most badass fucking gym in the world? Like and comment below.
So yeah, I love how there was, for those listening, there was also a Lambo just in the in the foyer. Wasn't even mentioned.
Logo's
it speaks for itself.
The logo is also very heavily inspired by the Lamborghini logo.
Yes.
Like it looks like it
Yes.
was a Lamborghini logo until you read it.
Right.
Yeah.
The choice of marble for a gym also I just thought was interesting. If you're gonna have thousands upon thousands of people coming in and out of this place in order to make ends meet, it just seems like a very loud, cavernous kind of a design choice for a gym where people are typically very loud, clang and bang, as they say, and also got to be a nightmare to keep it from not being a hazard with all the sweaty bodies coming in and out of there. But yeah, I mean, it looks sweet. It looks cool. Don't know if it'll make money, but it looks really cool.
Well, he laid out because that was my initial reaction. I was like, "How is this going to make money?" Because he revealed in a video that the monthly membership price was going to be $69, no sign-up fee, no commitment. So I was just thinking of the amount of people who would need to come in and out of that gym and use that equipment and break it all down, and the cost it would take to keep that marble slab up like beautiful. Like here, let me show you the locker rooms to just give you an idea of like how many people they're going to need to keep this place clean.
All right, guys, are you ready for part 4 of the greatest gym in the fucking nation? We have over 300 stainless steel lockers in each locker room. Every single locker has a digital lock. All you need to do is type in your own 4-digit personal code, automatically unlocks. You never need to remember to bring your lock. It is also vented in the back,
That shit
so
is
no more smelly
always
lockers. The showers here are so incredible. You're never gonna want to shower at home again. We have a dual flow rain water head and 6 body jets, as well as a handheld spray. No expense was spared when building the lockers. It is literally covered from floor to ceiling with marble, LED mirrors, custom marble sinks. You're gonna feel like royalty when you come to Fusion. And don't worry, we didn't skimp for the ladies. We went even bigger and better for the ladies' locker room. It features everything the male locker room has and more. It is 3,000 square feet. And if you come to Fusion before work, don't worry, ladies, I got you covered. We have a beautiful hair and makeup area so you can get ready for work. All right, Fusion fam, so if you're excited about our newest location that we're about to bring to this community, do me a favor. Please share and like this video and all the other ones before it, because we are excited to bring you one of the best gyms in the world.
The thing that stuck out to me there is just like black marble sounds so hard to keep clean, like incredibly hard to keep clean. Like white marble stains really easily. So in like a, in a $70 a person gym, like the type of stuff that might be out or the type of messes that might be made, like keeping that polished and looking beautiful, incredibly difficult. Then you go into the bathroom, black marble. There's just like, I just don't know how you can keep a gym that size with that type of anticipated traffic, like looking really good.
I mean, I guess I'm kind of asking 2 questions here. One is, it does seem like the choices of the material seem particularly suspect. And while I don't think that's, again, probably something that I consider myself an expert on, I share all of these concerns about how is that actually going to fly. So I would pin that as one potential possibly massive oversight for how this is also going to play. I think the other thing that is interesting is even the messaging so far is like, the UVP is this gym is expensive. This, it's valuable. We're the only gym that's ever spent this much money. It's covered in diamonds, right? It's specifically this much money. So, and I do see, okay, there's probably some benefit for a certain type of consumer that wants a luxury brand, but then we have this disconnect where the membership is $69, like a lot less than Equinox. So having said that, because of the, by all accounts, incredible rollout viral strategy, hence we're even talking about it, and because of clearly this individual's access to massive amounts of capital, which someone was okay with and said, these are all acceptable things, buy this marble for your gym, there's clearly, I think, a play in here to make tons of money that is not the membership. Is that correct? Do we think that has to be the case?
There is an angle. There is an angle, and we'll get into that.
Go on.
But first, I did a deep dive into this guy. His name he goes by Relentless Tony, and because I was like, all right, so this guy's either like absolutely loaded or knows somebody who's absolutely loaded to finance this thing.
Yeah.
And so he's got a pretty popular Instagram account where he posts motivational stuff. And I was like, okay, I wonder what kind of stuff he's built. And then like literally the first video on there, this was it.
Before this gym, we had 5 fucking gyms. Each one failed. We had to either sell or we had to close because we weren't gonna make it. No one remembers my fucking failed gyms. All everyone's gonna remember is this shit right here. And the same will go for you. No one's gonna remember your failures. Only your haters will. Because people will sit there and they'll point to the micro actions you took, the times that you failed, but they're not looking at all the things that you're good at. There's plenty of people that will go against you. You could be a fucking saint, and there'll be motherfuckers that they'll find a reason not to like you. You know why they'll find a reason not to like you? Because you're the beacon of light in their dark dumpster fire of a life. You are everything that they're not. You exemplify what they could be. Because when you come from the same place as them, and you're doing so much more than them, they're gonna be like, nah, this ain't it.
So who is he speaking to? Like, he's addressing a group.
himself.
Like, he's literally like, but you can see his eyes are going from here to here. Like, it's not one person or even like someone behind the camera. It seems like there's a group of people.
It is.
He's
I bet
addressing.
there's a non-zero chance there are paper cutouts. He just put some paper cutouts there of people, and he's
I was
playing.
gonna say stuffed animals. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
now,
figures.
yeah, just big, giant, 6-foot tall bears just filled with beans. Because I think there's a chance he's playing the now ubiquitous Instagram vertical video play of you set it up so you're talking to people, but it's just like you inside your closet.
right.
But like,
the other
it definitely
piece too
wasn't.
that-
It just like was not what I was expecting. You know, I was expecting
Also,
it to be.
strong lead with like everything I've done so far up till now. Failure. I have never, and I'm sure there's other things, but like it's funny because if you just take it at face glance, which right now I have to, he's like, everything I've done, disaster. I am completely in debt. I have ruined every life I've ever touched, and yet here I am again investing $100 million in a gym with a $69 per month membership. You can be, if you can dream it, you could be it.
He's got like another video where he talks about financing and like getting financing. And he's like, yeah, no one's going to give you money if you like don't have a successful business. And then I got kind of confused here where like, he's
Clearly, someone will give you
like,
money.
every gym I've done has failed.
Well,
and it's almost like he's taking a victory lap, but the gym hasn't opened yet. Like he's got a lot. He's definitely succeeded at getting a lot of attention and a lot of views, but I think we don't know if it's commercially viable, do we?
I don't think so yet, but I will say this because we know that I'm over charitable guy. Just in case you're watching Relentless Tony, I know we're ribbing you. Listen, there's a chance, and I have to assume that that's not actually correct. I have to assume for him to get access to this capital, clearly something has gone well and just happens to be a funny clip to look at in lieu of this conversation. And overall, I don't know. I'm kind of into this strategy of like just taking a massive, huge swing. It's almost too big to fail at this point. You know, and there's something to be said for this sort of, Mateo disagrees, but there's something to be said for, maybe not too big to fail, but I don't know if you're that.
It's not Chase. It's not a bank.
Well, but listen, if you're that capitalized, there's something to be said for, and this is not a super scalable strategy, and I think most viewers are not going to do this, but I think there's something to be said for, don't do a $300,000 build out, do a $100 million build out, and have so much money raised that you make such a ruckus, and it's so unbelievably viral that you create other opportunities out of it. I think, again, our outstanding question is, what does the business look like? What is the P&L? Because no investor is going to be like, yeah, light my money on fire and then you'll get famous. And then later on, we'll figure it out after we spend the $100 million and have no revenue. So I have to imagine, again, I'm sticking with my story. I think there's a play here that has not yet been revealed.
John, did you, in the first clip, did it showcase the barbershop and in the restaurant? Or is that another clip I watched earlier?
Here,
can you play that one?
All right, guys, let me show you the greatest gym in the world. Let's go. So this is going to be our barber shop. We're going to have 5 chairs, huge LED mirrors. There's barber right across the top. It's going to have massive, beautiful couches where you can sit and wait. Huge 100-inch TV. Don't worry, we didn't forget about the ladies. We got a blow dry bar. So this is going to also have 5 chairs, huge LED mirrors, beautiful lighting, all marble floors. You can't forget about Fusion Fresh. It's going to be some of the most delicious food you've ever had. So think Chipotle, but flavors from all over the world. It has an open concept kitchen. You're going to be able to build a wrap, a salad, or a bowl. You can eat it here in a restaurant. And you don't got to be a member to eat at the restaurant. It has its own entrance. Don't you hate waiting for the cable machine at your gym? Where Fusion, you don't have to. We have 6 8-stack cable crossovers. All right, guys, if you like what you saw, like and share for part 2.
So,
He's like, we got Chipotle, we got a barbershop, we got blow dry bars, And we got some cable.
I was like, wait a second, why? This does not fit the theme of the rest of the things you're showcasing here. So the barbershop only has 5 chairs, but the barbershop, they are extremely profitable, typically. Like, I know a couple people who have owned barbershops. They can be cash cows. So it's entirely possible that he's just going to float this whole gym with just the barbershop and the salon. Like, it's entirely
cash
possible.
haircuts.
Yeah, exactly. It could be all the revenue is just going to come from those 2 places. Because I'm assuming, getting a fade is not including your $69 a month membership or $79 or whatever it is. So, again, it's only 5 chairs. I think you probably need a couple more, but it could be that it's just going to be the barbershop and the gym is just, I don't know, the lead magnet to get people to come in. Who's to say?
All right. So he has released a video stating his business plan and what it's cost. Why don't we watch it? Because Mark's dying to talk about the business plan.
To get to the bottom of this.
He just wants to talk business. He doesn't care anymore. We haven't even gotten to the 3 basketball courts, the member area, the boxing rink, the octagon. Oh. We're missing. There are whole areas we haven't even touched on yet. But Mark,
I have literal bated breath. Let's go.
I will end the suspense for you right now. Here is the plan.
So we spent $10 million building this facility. It's going to take us 1 year to recoup our full investment. Let me give you a basic breakdown of our memberships. We have one that's $70 a month. We have one that's $100 a month. Our median price point is $85 a month. Our goal is to sign up 10,000 members. 10,000 members times $85 a month equals $850,000 a month. Over the course of a year, it's a little over $10 million. That doesn't even include our barbershop, our salon, our restaurant, our retail store. That's just membership.
And it didn't even include the cable machines.
So how many members does the average Planet Fitness have? Do we know?
It's like 2,500.
2,500. Okay, so
wait, hold on. No, it was like, well, like the actual number, or like the reported number. That's a debated in a short report right now that we've talked about on the show.
Right. But I guess
no, it's like hold on. They have like 16 million members, right? Is the number that they claim, and then they have about 2,500 gyms. So 6,400 is the number per Planet Fitness, based off of the numbers that they report.
I know this is not the same gym as Planet Fitness, but I just don't know, how are you going to get 10,000 people? How are you going to get 10,000 members? That's an obscene amount of members. It's crazy.
And just the wear and tear, as we talked about it too, it's like it makes all of the fabric things we've discussed, the materials, become even more, because it's not as if they're, and I know this is not what he's proposing, and to be clear, we don't know actually how much money was invested in it, but like
he said, 10 million right in the beginning.
So he invested 10 million, but the thing is, that's not the way that works. Like, you don't make that back because there's still other expenses now.
The operating costs,
And again, let's assume they're doing, split it in thirds. Let's say he's doing 33% EBITDA. It's going to take him 3 years to make back that original investment. Okay, we're cooking. Like that can work. And obviously the scale of this business becomes very interesting. You don't need to have tons of locations, because if you are making, $3.5 million per year, this could very well be something that could make sense. And again, I want everyone to succeed. I want this guy to absolutely kill it, and its potential, because I don't know enough about this model, but I share your questions, Matteo. I just wonder, like, how realistic is it? And is this, John, do you know, is this like downtown Philadelphia? It's Philly, right? But is it like...
No, it's not.
Okay.
So for context, Matteo and I owned a gym in Philadelphia, in Rittenhouse, which is like the fanciest, bougiest part of Philadelphia.
Rittenhouse Rye, great whiskey. Shout out our sponsors here, Gym World Worldwide, 100 proof bonded whiskey.
This is like in a north eastern suburb of Philadelphia. So if we look at the closest shopping mall to where this gym is, I'll tell you the tenants. There is a Walmart, a Longhorn Steakhouse, an Olive Garden, a Red Lobster, and a Sky Zone trampoline park.
Hell yeah.
I mean, just from a population density. Because people, as we know, famously are only going to drive, what they say, 7 minutes on average, right? And you two probably know more about this than I do because of your work with Kilo. But just from a population density, how many people are within 7 minutes total? Is he hoping to have like 30, like 1 out of every 3 person that could drive there signs up?
That's what I'm trying to say. Like he made it sound like in a year we're getting our money back, you idiot. All you haters, it's just going to take me a year. It's like you're describing this as if you have 10,000 members as soon as you open the doors, and then they're all paying that price.
Right.
And then yes, in a year you have recouped the initial investment from just memberships. But it's like you have to first get those people signed up. Let's just assume, forget the operational costs of sustaining 10,000 like people coming in and out, you know, at various points. Let's just say he's going to get those 10,000 members in a year, okay? But that means he's got to close and sign up, you know, divided by 12 months, like 830, let's just say 830 to 850 new signups every month. That means he's got to conduct, if he's got like a 50% close rate, let's just say, for just an example, that's like double the amount. That's 830 times 2 is like, yeah, 1,600 NSIs every month. Like, it's just insane. Like how much you have to spend to get that amount of leads to generate those many appointments. Like that's wild. It's just wild.
He also said no sign up fee, no cancellation fee, no contract.
Right. So that's assuming everyone stays, right?
Right. So
it's
no one,
crazy.
so there's no like there's no disincentive for pausing your membership or canceling and starting back up if you're going somewhere. Yeah, like the churn, and this is like, you know, we talk about Planet Fitness because they set up the gym. It's so cheap that, like, you know, you don't use it, but it kind of motivates you. Like, oh, I'll keep paying because I'm gonna go next month. And if they have like 65, like there have been shows done on Planet Fitness where like if all their members went to the gym, it would work. Like if they used it regularly, like the model would be broken. So what's weird here is like, this gym is designed for people who lift. Like if this is the type of gym that is appealing to you, like you like lifting and you like going to the gym. And so you are going to use that equipment. And that is serious stuff. Like that is good looking equipment.
Or the basketball court. Like you're good if you sign up because you want to play basketball, you're going to use it to play basketball. You're going to use the octagon. You're going to use the squat racks, the deadlift stuff. Like, yes. It's
and
not
then you look at
yeah.
And then you look at like when we did Alpha Land and we were watching some of the video reviews there, it seemed like one of the biggest complaints of Alpha Land was that it was just like ass packed all the time. And they charge between like $200 and $300 a month for a membership. So like you're in this weird middle ground pricing wise where you're positioning yourself as the best gym in the world.
Price
super
point makes
premium.
no sense. It's the middle. It's or not like kind of the middle. It's not like a high premium. It's not Planet Fitness price. It's such a weird. Why are you doing this?
And particularly in that market.
We've talked so many times about how we think like the middle, like the fitness industry is bifurcating, and then low price stuff is going to work well, and really high price stuff is going to work well. And then we've seen everybody in the middle pivot to one side or the other. So all the other major gym chains have like built a bunch of amenities and larger clubs and upscaled so they can charge between like $150 and $300 a month. Or other ones have just like stripped stuff away and tried to copy what Planet Fitness is doing. But like everybody, like there's just a huge grave of failed gyms that live in that like $59 to $99 price point. So that was just the part that made no sense to me when I was watching this.
I guess I seem to be circling back to my same question, which is, again, someone gave access to $10 million. I assume this is not Relentless Tony's personal wealth, but perhaps, again, I'm not really clear on exactly what his professional trajectory has been, but presumably this means, and we can also assume this is likely not a bank move. Those of us who've met with banks before, this is not the project generally that Chase is going to be excited about funding. So we assume there's investors of some kind, and we assume, you know, one possibility here, and again, I hope this is not the case, is you just had investors that just really didn't know what they were doing. And that's, I guess, that's what I can't square. I can't see an investor with this type of income not being sophisticated enough, even if they don't know this industry, to do the simple back of napkin math, which Matteo did, which anybody with any business sense, it's going to be the first thing you do to be like, wait a minute, how does this work? So is there something we don't know?
Yeah, but they saw how much he was investing up here. They saw how relentless he was in investing in the most precious asset.
I want the guy to win.
That was
want Relentless Tony to win.
Okay, so I've been hiding a secret play from you guys. I've been hiding what I think.
You've been very coy, you little coy boy.
what I think the big brain play is. So there was another video here. Let's take a look.
We just finalized a deal with a billionaire using Google Translate.
4 years ago, when we met in China, everything that I told you that I would do, I have accomplished.
我希望你超老板成为
I hope you have exceeded the task.
A few years from now, we're going to look back at this day, and we're going to look at your $10 million a year goal. We're going to laugh because we're going to do $10 million.
So for those of
10
you
million a
who
month.
are not
Okay.
watching, the TikTok said, I closed a deal with a billionaire in China via Google Translate. And it was just him going back and forth. So what are the chances that the gym cost 10 million and the deal was 10 million? So, you know, I think that leads us to believe that this guy is the investor. Whoever this mysterious Chinese billionaire is the person who put the money in. Now, further internet sleuthing revealed something else. So he's posting these videos now to try and drum up excitement of like he'll just go to other influencers who have cool gyms and be like, hey, look at my gym, and show them some photos and then just like have them react. So here's one of those.
Dude, that is beautiful.
36 squat racks, boxing ring, octagon, 4 basketball courts, 20 Olympic benches. We also manufacture all the equipment too.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
Oh my gosh, man. It is. It's like an and here.
yeah.
I love it. Congrats.
So there is the mysterious reveal. He said at the end there, we
It's like
manufacture all of our own equipment. And so,
it's
all
all
this
an
stuff.
ad.
It's a giant ad.
And so if you go back and you look at the original, like the plates, the dumbbells, the equipment, all of it says Relentless on it. And so apparently that's just not custom branded. That is the equipment brand.
Okay.
So
It's still such
If
an
it's like-
expensive commercial. No?
is it though? Because like let's say you're losing a few $100,000, but this thing acts as like people are going to go to this thing. Like when I go to Philadelphia, I'm going to this gym. I want to meet Relentless Tony.
I mean,
And
we're
I
doing
want
it-
to.
We're doing a unicorn side event there in the fall. We should go.
Yeah,
There you go.
We should do it in the gym.
Yeah.
You know, we can all get a membership for what
Yeah.
we would have paid to drop in somewhere.
Sign up for the month and then cancel when we go back to our places.
There you go.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. So anyone who is into fitness is going to know about this gym, and they're going to go there when they're in Philadelphia, which is like a commonly, it's like one of the most traveled 2 cities in the U.S. And so if you're trying to break into the market where like Rogue is super entrenched, like, is this a big brain play?
That's the only way you're making 10 million a year. Because if
Yeah.
from the $85 a month membership, you'd have to have 100,000. Like you'd have to have just an obscene amount of people paying $85 a month. It'd be
He
crazy.
can always like correcting the pricing is never fun, but it's possible. That's what we talked about in the last episode we published. Like, they can, that's easy. You're just like, okay, it's 200 now.
Yeah.
And I think like all the people who would love something like this would be like, thank God, like it's
Right,
just
right,
like Like I think the people who would appreciate and really enjoy a gym like this, like that's what they would expect to pay, and that's what they would want, to have it be like a little less crowded and cleaner. And I don't know, who's to say? Maybe they have a $10 million a month budget where they're just going to have like every machine will have a personal attendant who cleans it, and like it will be spotless all the time. But yeah, like you kept saying, like maybe this is a lead. This is leads for something. This is leads.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what this is just like a loss leader. Like in fashion, it's not uncommon to build these massive flagship stores in New York City.
Yep.
And those things piss money. Like they just
kick
burn
our
money
asses.
on fire.
And then we can't get fucking reasonable leases because everybody wants Zara to come lose $100,000 a month. And meanwhile, I just want to open up a gym and make money like a dum-dum.
It's true. Yeah. The flagship, like a lot of times you have these direct to consumer fashion brands, and then they'll finally open a retail shop, and it's literally just because
It's an ad, yeah.
it's like a branding exercise,
Yeah.
So I guess if this is like a branding exercise for the equipment, and you're gonna have famous, I mean, there's another video I watched where he talks to these other fitness influencers who also have big gyms. Christian Guzman, he does one with him, and he's just like, this is my gym. He's like, oh, it's beautiful. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm gonna fly you out. I'm gonna fly you out for the grand opening. So you will inadvertently have all these fitness influencers doing deadlifts, doing squats with, the Relentless equipment branded right there on the plates. So it will get eyeballs on your stuff. But
like,
yeah,
when
it's a wild way to go about it, in my opinion. But yeah, maybe I have the small brain and they have the big brain. It's possible.
Well, he links out to it in his website, and then this is the actual page that I got to. So I can't actually find the equipment.
Yeah. If you wanted to order a Relentless barbell, you can't.
We can fix this for you, Relentless Tony. We'll be happy if you give us a tour of the gym. We will get this done for you. But yeah, because I was like, I want to see the equipment. Like, this is awesome. If that's the big brain play, like let me buy something. Let me support this guy.
Yeah.
And so that's as far as we got there.
Because one other thing that he mentioned in his conversation with the anonymous, mysterious Chinese billionaire was 10 million a year. Haha, we're going to do 10 million a month. What is the total addressable market for equipment sales? And is that a high margin business? Because that's a world I don't know a ton about. But
you can make absolute bank.
Okay, so does anyone what is Rogue's yearly revenue? Do either of you know offhand?
We know Techno Gym. So, because Techno Gym, the family just sold some stock, but the revenue for Techno, and it's publicly traded in England, where they have a lot of information available for publicly traded companies. So, 2020, so COVID revenue for Techno Gym was 510 million. Let me give you a market cap on that. Market cap is 1.6 billion on Techno Gym.
I could,
quarterly revenue 162 million, 12 million in net income, and that's quarterly. So, there's real money there.
Yeah, but admittedly, and certainly this is maybe the play they're going to go with, because I realize they're trying to tack this to luxury brands, right? We are not so subtly almost ripping off logos of other luxury brands. And that's what Technogym, to their credit, has done really well, right? Because Technogym is a little bit different in a lot of equipment providers because, of course, for obvious supply chain reasons, you don't have a lot of actual globe straddling Bahamas. And Technochain, I believe, is based in Italy. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they are actually a global high-end brand, a very unique style of equipment. But admittedly, there is a world, maybe this Relentless brand will be even more mass market. So maybe they're going to have, potentially if they can figure out the supply chain thing, I have to imagine that's really what the game is. It's not even just to crush the United States, but truly be a global brand. And we'll see. Yeah, it's interesting, Matteo. It might be a big brain play. We're going to see here.
I guess just bringing it back to other brands that build a flagship, they know they're going to lose money on, but it's just as a glorified billboard.
Right.
Usually you have the direct to consumer thing figured out, or usually you're already selling in all those cases, you are already selling lots of product, and then you do the flagship thing.
Right.
It's interesting to go flagship money loss leader first, and then I'm going to sell.
Right.
Try to make money selling the equipment later. But who's to say?
Here's the Techno Gym guy right here. He sold 550 million of his stock, and he's got a 1.3 billion dollar fortune. Most of it still in Techno Gym stock. So there is plenty of money to be made selling equipment. All the stuff on Rogue isn't publicly traded, obviously, so we don't know what their revenue is. If you Google it, there's just it's a wide range. It's somewhere between 180 million and 360 million are the estimates. But still pretty substantial.
Oh yeah.
And even at a 10% net profit and that's still good, and it's an asset-heavy business. So, they if you look at what the EBIT is, probably way higher. So, you just have to you have to sell a lot of it. I can't imagine it's very profitable being a tiny equipment company.
Right.
But once you have scale, it's got to be. There's a lot of advantage to being a very large one.
I imagine that's true.
this
you
is
also-
a very interesting play.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
also.
they're doing.
The other thing that strikes me seems probably true is you probably also have a decent moat once you achieve some scale with this size of company, because by definition, Exhibit A being this whole endeavor, it requires so much money to get the ball
Yeah,
rolling.
a lot of startup capital. Yep.
Yeah, so it's like in theory, if this hit the way that we are analyzing, maybe they're going for, it might in retrospect be a absolutely brilliant genius move where they come out absolutely swinging. I agree with your assessment, Teo. It is a little interesting that this is the flagship. Loss leader is coming before the product to sell, but maybe it's all by design, and maybe if you're really dealing with a billionaire and this billionaire is all in and they've actually earmarked $50 million they can just like light on fire before they start making money, because they think in 2 to 3 years they'll have a company that is comfortably pulling in $10-20 million EBITDA per year just in profit. Could be interesting. Could be interesting to see the way this goes.
So I think takeaway for gym owners is make friends with a Chinese billionaire, and next time you want to open your gym, your second location, you can get marble floors too. You can have 6 cable things and also a barbershop.
Yeah. I think that sums it up.
So we talked on the show about Wadapalooza and how they had a tattoo booth set up, and I made a video that was telling people that I found the story heartfelt, and that if anybody wanted to get a kilo tattoo, I would give them a free website for life. This was 3 days ago, and last night I got this notification that
Oh my God. Oh my Lord.
one of our customers got inked. Got the Kilo K on there.
My God.
Matt Ivy.
Good Lord.
Absolute legend. Now,
Wow.
I wish I could tell you he was the only one. There are at least 2 other Kilo tattoos confirmed going on, one today and one over the weekend. So, Fisher, what do you think? Is this big brain marketing, or are we being dumb here?
I mean, I think you're going to be done, because I think what's obviously happening is every one of your customers is going to get a Kilo tattoo. So yeah, it's great advertising, but when you're not making any revenue because every customer has a Kilo tattoo, I don't know. It's going to be tough to...
There are a fair amount of gym owners who have a lot of tattoos who probably don't mind. I'll just throw one other one on. Like,
pretty tatted up.
Just grab it. Yeah, here, just any spot here, just in between this massive piece and this massive piece. Throw it right there in the middle. I also don't think John gave any size specifications. So yeah, you can just get a tiny little one.
I said a credit card. I said the size of a credit card.
Okay, cool. Still, I mean,
it.
yeah, you could. Wow. Okay.
I missed that part. I didn't realize it had to be the size of a credit card. I actually have a very tiny Kilo tattoo behind my ear that I was going to show you. But
you can get
now I
another one.
just
You
put it.
know, you can get 2.
Another one.
Right?
Okay.
So like
I'll get
Arizona,
another Kilo tattoo.
Arizona Iced Tea's got the 99-cent tall boy. Costco has got the $1 hot dog. Kilo's got the free website for life if you get the Kilo tattoo. You know, that's the way we support the community. That's the way we help, along with giving them free education via Gym World.
So yeah, anyone out there listening who's in the market for a website and we're kind of on the fence on Kilo, here's a great opportunity to get it for free for life.
You just start with just start with a tattoo. You know, instead of the
Yes.
website, you don't want to make the initial investment. Just start with a tattoo.
The tattoo for someone who's not a current Kilo customer is the relentless gym before I have the supply chain figured out to sell equipment to the masses. So yeah, I think certainly think about it.
So, Fisher, we've talked a few times on the show that the broader you go, the tougher the competition is. And you like to talk about being niche. 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing, great marketing book, says, if you can't be number one in your category, you got to keep niching down until you find a category you can be number one in. So I thought we would do a segment on people who have basically niched down and created their own categories and then had them turn into very monster businesses. So here's the first one.
Who is Brett Contreras? In 2006, I invented the barbell hip thrust. I am the creator of innovative strength training equipment, including the hip thruster, the T-bell, and the hammy track and roller. I conduct numerous experiments and publish research. I create monsters in my gym. I am the creator of the sport of strong lifting, and I'm the OG glute guy who created this whole niche. I have a PhD, a CSCS certification with distinction. I have almost 30 years of lifting and 25 years of personal training under my belt. I recently deadlifted 635 pounds beltless and almost hit 650. I've spoken at over 70 conferences and seminars worldwide, published over 50 peer-reviewed journal articles, authored 3 books, opened up 3 glute labs, and assembled one badass group of women who call themselves the Glute Squad. And this is just the beginning.
Such a weird video.
Best
the vibes
Tinder
are
profile
so weird.
ever.
So weird. So weird.
I thought it was awesome. I love it.
I thought it was just like I don't know. It's like I create monsters in my gym. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ! Like, what's happening? Like, what, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Like, it's just his tone and his presence, demeanor just did not match that. A couple lines in that video, particularly that one. You know. Also, like the glute baddies. What was like? Are they
Glute
famous?
Squad.
Am I supposed to know who they are? Like, is that like a very famous squadron?
It's like the Red Bull girls, you know, but for glutes. They just
okay. I mean,
they
again,
just go around handing out glute exercises.
Like, some of his accomplishments are obviously very impressive, and a lot of stuff he listed. And then just like some random things, like I almost hit 650 on the deadlift. Like, I almost did it, guys.
He wanted to show some vulnerability. You know,
Okay,
he was hitting you with a lot of impressive stuff there, and so he wanted to show a little bit of vulnerability.
I almost hit 650. I didn't do it, but I almost did. It's like, might as well have just said I almost hit 700. Like, I almost hit 800, but I didn't. You know, like, I don't know. Very, very strange hype video. I do want to use some of those tools he said he invented to work on my glutes. So,
they're
obviously
legitimately
working.
great.
Yeah, I do want to. I want to jump in on that, but yeah, just I create monsters in my gym. It's like,
well, Fisher, you 100%. You definitely met this guy in person a few times, right? Like, he's in your corner of the world. Yeah.
So this one is of course interesting because we tend to have more fun when we don't have any contacts and we just start shooting our mouths off. This one, unfortunately, I have contacts because Brett is a friend of mine. So I certainly do see what you're saying there, Matteo, about the disconnect. My read on this, which I understand, I think actually is somewhat successful, is poor Brett, because the thing about Brett is he really gives a shit, and he's really into the science, and he genuinely, I think, is not only a clear thinker, but has one of my favorite qualities I look for in really any expert, but certainly in the fitness industry, of his mind keeps evolving and changing over time. And he is, you know, and I think I'm pretty well known for my cyborg Terminator, deeply off-putting work ethic and stamina, and he makes me look like a lazy ass. So I think for Brett, a source of continued frustration, which I can understand, is seeing a lot of tomfoolery on the interwebs, particularly as it relates to glute function, and him being like, you are a random internet person. You've trained 4 people. I have all of these things. So my assumption is this hype video was about establishing that credibility and authority. And, you know, the thing about Brett that I also quite like personally, that I think maybe adds to a little disconnect in this particular video perhaps, is Brett is actually like like kind of like a sweet. He's so weird.
I was gonna say,
as a
he seems like
compliment.
he's a sweet man, very sweet
He's like,
guy.
and he's quirky, and he's also like, he's both sweet, but also like can have like an edge. And this is like scientist, like Zen Brett sort of thing. But yeah, I gotta like tap out of this one a little bit because I really do like Brett a great deal and really respect what he's done and have learned a lot from him also over the years.
Absolutely, it seems very impressive, very knowledgeable, and like done a lot for the field. Like everyone is probably does the glute hand bridges because of him.
I mean, he literally
like,
invented it. Like it's he went to Perform Better in like 2007 with like a 500-page book, and then waited and then like shoved it in the hands of every presenter, and everyone's like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And he was a math teacher. He was literally taught like math, and he just got super into this and then the glute article started posting up on T Nation, and the rest was history. Everyone was like, okay, looks like we need some loading like that on the hips. Who would have thought? It's a bench press for your butt.
Here's what I love about this. I love that like he's been able to just consistently talk about glute training for like over a decade.
Yes.
Like to show up every day and talk about this like very random, very niche thing is just like very impressive. Two, like he like obviously he's quirky. You can see that in the video. Like he has a massive audience because he wasn't always like he wasn't big like on video originally, right? Like he was like a Dan Train type guy where he was like a big blogger and writer originally, right?
Yeah, he wasn't even really mainstream. It really was only the advent of Instagram that he, I think, really tipped over into a lot of mainstream influencer status. Before then, he was well known in a certain corner of strength coaching. But, as soon as Instagram happened, and admittedly, of course, and he would be the first to admit this, when you're able to post a lot of really well-shaped derrieres, you're going to get some eyeballs onto your feed. But, he's also a great example of someone that actually just did the strategy that everybody talks about, like just be so good they can't ignore you. Just like love your craft and then just make content about the stuff you love. And he really did that with, I don't want to say like with minimal strategy, except to maybe say like that as a compliment, and he also jokes all the time. Like, he's like, yeah, people are always telling me like, oh, you're really not doing a good enough job and you're leaving all this money on the table. He's like, dude, I make so much more money than you. Like, so he's constantly having like marketer people being like, oh, you're really not optimizing properly. He's like, dude, I am so rich beyond I ever need. I just do what I like all day long. Like, shut up. Like, you're not even making 100 figures. Get out of here. Anyway.
100 figures.
100 figures.
You heard it here first. Fisher estimated his income at 100 figures.
Yes, 100 figures.
Yeah, so we were talking with like Dan Trink, who's big in like the, he's a frequent contributor to Men's Health yesterday, and we were talking about like a lot of people from that era just didn't evolve, just didn't get to video, and then just kind of fell off. And like this is not the case. Like this guy just like transitioned to this medium and evolved and is now massive. I have no clue how much he makes, but I am assuming it is just a boatload of money. Like when I posted something on the topic, like he got more notoriety from just like random people not in fitness that follow me than like any other fitness influencer that we've talked about. Like, the appeal for a sculpted glute is broad, and like he just invented this thing. Like he just kept niching down and stayed in his lane, and now he's rich and probably deservedly so.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's why you see the rise in neck training. It's because there's just everyone's owned a body part. Everyone has. We have the glute guy already. We have the knee guy already.
Yeah,
We have the shoulder guy. Right? Like, we've run out of body parts, so now everyone's fighting to be the neck guy. I'm gonna be the neck guy.
I specifically want to be the neck. I'm going to be the scalings influencer. Everyone knows the go-to Mark Fisher for scalings training.
Right.
There's jaw guys now. There's jaw guys.
Exactly.
Like mouthpieces, and it's called like jaw talk. So
right. Yeah. So we're just running out of body parts. That's what's happening.
All right. So you kind of tipped off my next one. Also incredibly popular right now.
Without any equipment, you can start improving bad knees right now.
Yeah.
Step 1, 10-minute walk, butt backward. And if you use a treadmill, make sure it's not turned on. Then 25 tibialis raises. This does not directly strengthen the knee. It strengthens this muscle that goes from below the knee to the inside of the foot. That gets weaker when we stop slamming force into the knee. So bolstering it gives us a better chance to heal and return to activities without being as vulnerable. Finish your 10 minutes, your 25 reps. You just put money in the bank for areas that may have been decaying for years. And you improve your chances of regaining pain-free positions and eventually range of motion. So that zero program helped thousands of us get back the activities we love. Then, through further gathering of data, I've established standards such as 20% of your body weight for 15 strict reps. That's not perfect. It's a guide where no guide existed. So for me, it's really simple. Same me without a route, surgeries, painkiller addiction, icing my knees 4 times just to get through the day and having to give up my sport. Same me after not having to do anything for treatment, 10 years without a setback, achieved my lifelong dream of dunking. And when I play basketball, it feels like I'm dreaming because it feels so good. So I get overly enthusiastic, but the goal of all of it is really simple. If you're not experiencing life as you hoped for, I hope you get to experience that joy again.
Jesus Christ. I get overly enthusiastic. I also love the clipping the mic on the hat. Very cool. Very sweet move. I love it.
So what do you think? Like,
I love this guy. I mean, I'm
gonna sign up. Yeah, I need help with my knees, so I'm signing up. I'm opting in. I'm subscribing.
I sadly, stupidly haven't actually really dug into his work. I'm familiar with him, of course, just from around the industry, and I haven't really taken time to really consume his content. My understanding is I hear like pretty good things about something that at first seemed almost definitionally provocative for its own sake. And admittedly, this is now me talking without context, but I don't know. I really like that clip. I feel like I'm hearing good things about his stuff generally, so I'm coming into this with a little bit of a bias that he's probably legit. I also just, again, it's another like weird, quirky thing that everyone's trying to do, right? Whenever you talk about content marketing in any industry, you're always trying to sell people on the internet is the dream, because whatever it is you like, you can monetize it. If you really like hairspray for cats, you can become the hairspray for cat expert and sell an info product and have a hairspray for cat mastermind to people, and you get
Expert
your 1,000
secrets.
true fans. Right, 100%. And I think a lot of people try to do that, and they just don't ever actually get there. Either the content's not that good or they don't actually know that much. And this gentleman, off admittedly very limited exposure, strikes me as similar to Brett. I'm like, I guess you really like this thing and you're willing to talk about it constantly, and you're probably doing great financially because of it and helping people, which is cool.
The Brian Johnson, the guy who does the blueprint, so he's that guy who spends $2 million trying to extend his life.
Yeah.
He is like a huge knees over toes advocate. So that's what he does for his workout. And so if you're spending $2 million a year, I'm sure you did a little more research than we did going into the show. And the fact that like he's like, I'm the science guy, I know all the best stuff, and he does this, seems like a good enough endorsement. And and this guy just like, this is so merchable. Like all these guys have like specialty equipment that work with their training protocol and then the accompanying training protocol. And so when I first saw it, I was like kind of skeptical. I was like, oh, like this is just another one of those like gimmicky things. But again, I posted about him before, and just people littering my feed being like, I love this. Have you tried it? This changed my life. Like very, very, very super legit comments from people. So I've never done it myself, but I think this guy created his own category and is absolutely crushing it.
Good job.
All right. So he is not the only jump influencer I found. There is another guy called Paul Fabritz. Have you heard of him, Fisher?
Mm-mm.
So here's a video of him on TikTok.
I've been having dreams, splashing in the summer stream, tripping, I fall in.
Just jump. For those who didn't see that, it was him jumping over a trampoline, and then just jumping off of a trampoline, then just like landing on the ground on his knees. So pretty impressive. And then there's this picture of him. I know because someone who works for me did his program, and he said he listened to a podcast where he said he was doing a few 100,000 in jump training programs. And then you have this house tour here where like this is his actual gym where he trains people, and it also seconds as his house in like a fancy part of California.
Yeah, so he like apparently he trains like famous athletes and like, yeah, or just like rich people who want their kids to become famous athletes. And yeah, it's insane. It's got a basketball court, full outdoor gym. He inherited a lot of the Roman Art Deco of the pool, but that's where he has smoothies for his people afterwards. He's got a podcast studio. His wife sings apparently. He says he wants to quit and start rapping. I'd love to hear that. And yeah, it's a very impressive setup for the home gym / home office.
What do you think of this, Fisher?
I'm not sure to think about it just because I think it's an amazing house and it looks like an incredibly sweet facility. I guess I don't have a ton more context other than, again, just thinking, what are you possibly charging? What are you selling to have a house like that, an expensive part? I mean, my initial impulse is like, is this a trust fund? Is this something like inherited money? Like, looks like they're super, super killing it. I mean, clearly there's several 100,000 subscribers. Clearly this video has lots of views. And I can assume you can charge a lot of money for training, but there's a real limit on that, right? Unless there's some other project, because that doesn't actually scale. So I'm just not sure yet what the actual business here that is creating what looks to be a $5 to $10 million estate, or again, this part of California could be $15-20 million estate.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine the celebrities, they pay him quite a bit, famous athletes. But yes, to your point, that's probably just used then in turn as marketing. He gets those people on his podcast. People watch it because they want to hear from their favorite athletes. And then from there, I'm assuming selling some
Why do all
jump
these guys
program.
have like broken links?
Right. And then from there, selling some program or some thing to the masses. But yes,
it's interesting.
We found what
even
we can buy.
Yeah, looking at the description box, it's I can't get over. So again, we don't know enough about this house, but I'm like in my head, and we're making like huge generalizations here, but I'm like, this has to be at least a $5 million house. You have to do real well to be able to afford, let's call it, $1 million down payment and $2 million whatever for on top of that for like furniture and whatever, and then the mortgage on a $4 million mortgage. For that to make sense and have like your lifestyle, unless there's literally no savings and it's all going into the house and the business is paying for the house, so it's but even then, this just math isn't adding up for me what I'm seeing on here. But obviously it's working. So barring there being some sort of not spoken about, massive inheritance thing that is like a part of this that's factoring in. I'm assuming again that there's other products on here that they're selling very well, because I have to imagine again to afford a house like this, you have to maybe at least make $2 million in net income, maybe $3 million in net income. That's a lot. You have to do a lot of sessions, even if your NBA players are paying you. You just do the math, you back that out. Like, that's a ton of revenue you got to be making per month. And of course, as we all know, to net $3 million, your business usually is making way more than $3 million, because there's always going to be expenses associated with it, even if you have a super, super lean business. So anyway, I'm curious what's going on there.
And
curious.
Yeah, you can only coach so many of them, even if you are only doing NBA athletes. Like, you can only coach so many of them in the day. So yeah, it's
interesting.
Raising good questions, Mark.
The putt-putt. I don't know, but I love this model. I love all these people who are just building sick home gyms and training people from the gym.
Yeah.
And just like writing off their house as a business expense. That is a sick model. That sounds so much more fun than having just like a regular gym. So
I am 100% thinking very seriously about how to have my businesses buy my next home. But the problem is you can't really do that if you're never going to bring your clients there ever. I'm like, is it okay? But I'll have a YouTube studio in it. So does that mean my business can buy the house?
You just need some NBA clients, That's the only thing you're missing. So
I need some NBA clients. Or I need to bring. But even then, it's like I'm curious about this move broadly, but I think I'm going to be, reluctantly accepting the Augusta rule.
I will say I wish there was a bathroom tour of this one. We've gotten a bathroom tour everywhere else we've visited virtually.
I think they did show briefly a stick-looking shower. There was a shower with some really cool-looking lighting. And that
I want to know where the NBA players go to the bathroom when they visit.
That's That's for the OnlyFans. You gotta pay a little bit extra for that. But yeah, just jump training. That's his thing. Jump training. So you can make a lot of money, or
Good for him.
appear like you make a lot of money, just from doing jump training. So a lot of people have shitty knees apparently. All right.
Oh yeah.
There's one more, and this one I don't think is killing it. I just put it on here because I thought Mateo would like it. It's called. So that's called metal workout.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Really bullish on metal workout.
So it's just like the theory is you work out harder when you listen to metal, and like most gym music is not metal, so they made a like very niche workout program for people who like working out and metal. Metal
but
workout.
People do listen to metal music when they work out. Although that's the part like I didn't really get. Like it's interesting because there's a couple people involved in this who are like famous metal artists. Like there's a guy from Trivium in there, which by the way, my Latin teacher in middle school said, no, it's Trivium. And I was like, well, they are just pronouncing it wrong then, because I don't know what to tell you. They all say Trivium. It's like it's Trivium. It's like, all right, whatever. John Leopold.
That actually is true.
A real one.
But because how much we really know about how he pronounced Latin? I believe that actually is correct in. I took Latin.
No, I'm pretty sure that's correct. I've said some controversial things in here, but I'm pretty sure it is supposed to be Trivium, but everyone says Trivium. Anyway, I know. Anyway, so one of the guys involved in this is like from that band, and like that's pretty sweet. It's just I've rarely seen famous artists or celebs. Everyone usually chooses tequila to sell, right? But now I'm going to take my audience and I'm going to choose instead to just sell workout and weird yoga courses. I mean, I'm here for it. I love it, but it's interesting.
I might suggest that Trivium, was it? I don't know that Trivium has quite the mainstream popularity, with all due respect to you and the affection you might have for them. I'm not sure they're really in the place where they can really launch a tequila brand. So this might actually be a savvy move on their part. But I think the broader question perhaps the observation that John made is I don't know necessarily this is a brand new concept that no one's ever thought of. No one's ever thought of this. It's like working out, but it's with really hard rock music. So you work out hard. It's going to change everything. It's going to change everything.
If you've been to a CrossFit gym, like it's usually metal. Like it's either like really intense EDM or it's metal. Like it's one of the two typically. So it's just it was wild.
But I hope wish them the best. That's kind of my thing always. I'm always like I wish them the best, but I always do. I really do.
I mean, I played a lot of metal when I coached my classes, so I don't know. I guess
I definitely was obnoxious EDM guy.
I guess I should sue them because they stole my idea that I invented.
Lawsuits.
But I am here for it. I'm super into it. I love it. I want to invest.
What you're saying sounds very easy and sounds very simple. Not actually that simple.
But yeah, I mean, anyone out there, takeaway is, just pick a different genre of music and that's your niche now. You can do classical workout. You can do jazz.
Metal workout's the only one that I don't think is successful out of the four. Like maybe it is, I don't know, but it definitely, no clear indicators of absolutely crushing.
There is no house with
other three examples.
Yes,
well, because they're also like French, so it was like hard to like check out the website and see and evaluate because I don't speak French. I mean, I will say of the
even more niche, just metal. For
specifically,
you have to like working out, you have to like metal, and you have to speak French.
But, we checked out some of the other examples, and a lot of those links didn't work. At least the links here work. There is a way to opt in and maybe buy something. So, who's to say?
The metal workout people were probably the most likely to get a kilo tattoo, and we would have built them a website. So, it's kind of upsetting.
Yep.
That's all for this week, folks. Be sure to dislike, unsubscribe, and leave a hateful comment. We'll see you next week on Gym World.